Now, the thing that bothers me is we're partway into this new arc, and we've yet to find the bottle of blood or bucket of vomit.
I thought it was vice versa.
You know what? You're right. In any case, the real bucket of blood was the friends we made along the way.
Yes, that's how people work. They usually contain blood.
By that, I was referring to Buck.
You do seem to bring home souvenirs of your adventures.
Look, we have a stronghold base. We're just going to keep filling it with followers over time.
Yes.
It's fine. By the way, we are recording.
Ellie. No, he seems pretty confident in his gender, writes Ellie. We need a female counterpart to have a bucket.
Okay, this worries me only because it implies certain things about the land shark from Dungeons and Dragons.
Bull and Bullette. Sure. Obviously, that's... Yeah, well, maybe they're like, what do you call them? Anglerfish.
I cast Shoot Polymorph on the land shark and turned it into a cow.
Yes,
I go home.
I award one useless inspiration to Ellie.
I should do an intro. Hi, this is Beth, doing GURPS Wars with Crash and Ellie and EO. And they should tell me what happened last time, because that might possibly get us actually on track.
Well,
we murdered several dozen people and carved a swath of destruction, the likes of which Droman Koss has never seen. And if anyone says otherwise, I will deny it. I have a reputation to maintain.
It would be difficult to cause destruction, the likes of which Droman Koss has never seen, because there was apparently a time when two of the Dark Council decided to have a Kagath in the Council Tower, and...
The Citadel.
The Citadel, that's what it is. And I gather there was a great deal of destruction and ships blowing up parts of the Citadel.
Right, and most people didn't see that.
That's true. It's probably before most people's time.
Well,
anyway,
my understanding
Crash
is that
yes,
some of us had a delightful holiday where we prepared 30-hour eggs.
Huh?
Rand's was okay. He wasn't expecting to have a face-to-face meeting with his parents anyway. They're very far away, and he really wasn't expecting them to try to find a desk job on Droman Koss so that they'd be next to near each other. I mean, that's too much to ask. So Ran is certainly hopeful that Intuxa and Sen had a delightful holiday with Sen visiting Intuxa's parents. Was probably very awkward throughout the whole thing. I mean, Intuxa, so I assume Intuxa's parents are very much like that, if not even more uptight and unwelcoming, because parents. This is the opposite of what actually happened, but Rand wasn't there.
And Sen will agree that they are a pair of terrifying individuals.
Who also seem to like Sen amazingly much. There were some very good reaction rolls there that the GM went, you know what? Yeah, let's run with this.
Now I'm thinking of that comic where the evil overlord is like, here, I baked these myself.
Yeah.
The prophet needs to stop sending children. Anyway.
Yeah.
After that, Rand was given a task by his actual Darth, not Darth Shardanak.
Not a Darth, a Lord.
The Lord, rather. Okay, so the Lord that works...
Your actual master.
Yeah, the Lord that has me on long-term loan out to Darth Shardanak for doing all the things actually has a job for me. I have to pick up a fine vintage of wine, a case of it, I think, and deliver it.
Alderaanian honey brandy.
That, which I mistakenly called Intuxian honey brandy. Problem is, it's not there. The shipment arrived, but the honey brandy's not there.
You had like one bottle of it.
Yes, but I'm not going to be able to tell them it's fine. There's one bottle, but I have the case that the one bottle came in. Yes, you could fit more in here with all the packing material removed. It's just like packing blaster rifles for a hut. Also, that case over there that had a bunch of children's toys in it seems to have been ransacked also.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a children's toy, and there's a children's toy, and there's a bunch of robots who have been sliced to think that they're repairing security cameras when they just stand over in a corner for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Let's follow these children's toys that lead to this train station that somebody has painstakingly created in a map-making program. And I'm leaving out some wonderful hijinks that involve checking security cameras and using psychometry to discover that the people who are immediately behind this are kids.
Uh-huh.
So it is quite possible that somebody is encouraging these children to do these activities, possibly not willingly. And the three of us have thoughts about that.
Excellent. As I recall, last time you were deciding that you needed to go to the train station, which is why there's a train station map, because I figured you people might want to. Is that accurate? Should I get another map?
Should I be concerned that
No, that sounds right.
The stuffed animal on this map is referred to as a Loth-cat Chiss agent?
Well, the toys that were filched were a bunch of Nexu and Loth-cat little stuffies, basically like little Beanie Babies. And they were in various little uniforms because, you know, they're collectible. And the Chiss are an allied group to the Empire. And they're blue, and they have red eyes, and sometimes they show up as, like, intelligence operatives and stuff. And also, I think that's, like, the default assumption for agents in SWTOR, is that they ought to be Chiss, because Chiss are cool. So, yeah, it's a little Loth-cat that's dressed up. It's blue and has red eyes, and it's wearing a little Imperial intelligence agent uniform. And I'm going to assume that since you people were looking for it, you spot it pretty quickly next to an abandoned hover truck. I'm going to get my notes out instead of just remembering them.
My only regret is Entuxa went over to the stuffed animal as I'm opening my character sheet to telekinesis the stuffed animal over to us. But this works too.
Mm-hmm. I have lost connection to the server. Reestablished. Okay, good. Percy, don't sneeze on me. Am I not hearing people, or are people just not talking?
We're just not talking.
Okay. I'm glad that I have not suddenly lost connection to everything while Percy has been coming over and threatening to sneeze in my face like a disgusting snot monster. Okay. You have gotten down there on your own hover truck, which is going to be out of the screen. This is a basically cargo subway. It goes a lot of places on Dromankas, and mostly only logistics really knows about it because it's for cargo. And who thinks about that, really? So
Cars don't go here. It's a train station.
there is that.
Train go.
Subway go. I mean,
If the whole subway goes, something's gonna happen that's bad.
Well, yeah, subway train, okay, subway car. They don't like to go above ground if they don't have to because it's, easier.
I saw that image posted and then immediately deleted.
I saw it too.
It was not the image that I thought it was.
It was funny.
I didn't see it long enough to read it. I saw it long enough to think it was the thing that you thought it was.
In any case.
Cargo space?
Cargo space?
Do that. Cargo road.
It's not a flying DeLorean. Where were we? Oh, right. And Tuxa, you have indeed walked over and, oh, look. There's a little Loth-cat toy dressed like a Imperial agent, and it's blue.
I am too distracted by this to properly search.
Oh, yes, searching is a good idea. I'm going to start searching around the area.
Well, we have a made by 2 for me and a made by 8 for Sen. So, what does Sen find 5 minutes before I start to notice that it might be there?
Sen, the little hover truck that they took down, that somebody took down, that it left a toy next to, is mostly empty, but there appear to be some empty chocolate wrappers there. And you do recall that there were some, military spec chocolates as part of the MRE packages, crates rather. Because, they have dessert as well. There's a few of those left in the corners. There are no wet footprints, which means that people have been inside long enough that the chocolate, yes, space chocolate, people did not bring mud on their shoes or whatever. You cannot pull a Sherlock Holmes that way. And Ran, you discover, yes, oh, look, there's some wrappers here. Hey, you know that brand. That's an MRE brand. And Sen, you notice that there are security cameras around the place.
Excellent. Let's beeline for the cameras, which I'm assuming are over towards one of these walls.
Yeah, they're up at a wall. I had not put the cameras in, which was silly of me. They're up high, which, they're trying to keep them out of range of being easily messed with by anyone who doesn't have someone who can boost them up with telekinesis or ladder.
Made it by 12. I would argue that with my telekinesis what I'm going for is just, again, dealing with Sen's boots so that they feel like they're going up an invisible staircase.
And give me a dex roll.
This keeps happening.
Ellie, have you...
invisible staircases.
Oh. That's true. It's funny that it's happened twice.
That episode's not going to go live until this episode goes live, actually, so probably.
People can actually do the crossover. Sen, give a dex roll. Made your dex by 7. You are not flailing and windmilling your arms and flapping your leku around. Indeed, this is Ran. Ran is giving you a boost again.
I mean, last time I did it without warning and just sort of gave uppies unexpectedly. This time I tried to do it a bit more nicely.
Hey, Sin, walk up the air. You can reach the cameras now. Mechanical aptitude made by 2. That gives you a boost to whatever mechanical thing you're doing. Electronics operation security made by 5. What do you wish to operate?
I want to try to get into the security camera and see if it has an internal memory of any kind.
You can hook up your personal computer, since you have a belt comp, and tap in a few codes. This camera seems to be working quite well, actually. And, you're an apprentice of a Darth. You can try a code here. Amazing. This works. It doesn't have a lot of onboard memory. You can pull what it is, but it's only like the last half hour. But you can get a link through this to the main memory backup. Basically can link to the mainframe for it, security mainframe. Because you have codes.
Excellent.
What do you wish to access for the timestamps?
Do we have any kind of reasonable time frame from our prior investigations?
You know when the ship that brought this cargo came in,
Ooh.
and Tuxa has made psychometry by 8. Let me finish my sentence. I will get right to Antuxa. You know when the cargo ship came in, and roughly when, therefore, the cargo would have been put in that cargo bay like 3 hours ago. And obviously, that would be when it would have to happen. So I'm going to put a pin in that. Antuxa, psychometry made by 8, assuming that's on the toy?
Yes.
The toy was in a crate. The toy was taken out in fistfuls of a child, the same one who dropped the previous toy, grabbing up toys, shoving them into a dark enclosed bag. The toy was taken out in probably the hover truck that it's right next to, and fidgeted with and sort of patted, and a nervous child was holding it, same one. And then as other hooded, cloaked figures got out, the child pulled up their own hood and was last to exit, you think, and dropped the toy and moved on. Deliberately dropped the toy.
Good girl.
I should probably try to give an image. I know how I'll give the image. I would take a
Clearly,
screenshot.
I'm probably making an assumption there.
You're probably making an assumption of there's a word.
The child's gender.
Seems plausible. Let me get you a picture that I made. Take that picture there. I will upload it to the Discord so that you may see. I mean, you made it by 8. You're going to have a pretty decent. You can see that I made a picru. That, but, with a hood and cloak kind of combo, which is pretty common on Droman Kaas, because Droman Kaas is kind of a hot, rainforesty climate a lot of the time, with force storms, because the planet is very dark aspected and it hates you in particular. And you, and you, and you. This is why there are a lot of lightning towers that literally turn lightning strikes into power for the city. It is one of the few planets that does force lightning as a natural weather phenomenon, or supernatural weather phenomenon.
It's that these 5 fish in particular image.
Yep. And it picks a different 5 fish every time.
I am not a fish. I am a free man.
Yeah, well, details. Anything else, Sentuxa?
No, I will communicate to the rest of the group that it's another deliberately dropped toy and stick it in my pocket.
Okay. Sen, what time frame would you like to try to access? I mean, you can try and just start 3 hours ago and fast forward if you want.
I'm going to do that.
Okay. You catch about a half dozen small hooded cloaked figures, probably not Jawas, this empire, getting out of one of the subway cargo cars. They're huge. And going trudge up through the passageway that you all came down, basically. Zip, 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 zip. Fast forward. A bit later, the cargo hover truck comes back. They all file off. They wait a couple moments. The automated cargo train comes through. It stops. It goes, they all get in. It goes whoosh. You can get the timestamp of which cargo train that was.
Excellent. I will recover that timestamp and return to the rest of the party. So long as Ran will set me down.
I'm fairly certain Rand's going to set you down gently, yes.
We're apprentices. I'm not going to assume that you wouldn't drop me for fun.
I mean, you've got your own skill, so
I'm saving my dropping someone for fun energy for whoever's making these children steal things from my lord.
with a made telekinesis other by 13, you can set Sen back down quite gently, or let Sen walk themselves down through the air, or whatever you wish to do. It's made by 13.
Invisible funhouse slide.
Ah.
There's a loop halfway down.
Yeah, that's just you flinging me around.
Oh, are we all having fun?
Someone is.
I'm looking forward to the wonderful conversation we're going to have with whoever is making the kids do this.
I got timestamps on which train they got in.
Excellent. Well, there does seem to be a train waiting. Shall we acquire do you still call it a berth when it's just a seat in the front?
Depends on if you pay for the upgrade. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, we canonically have data pads usually. We are accountants after all.
That's right.
What are the chances that I can use my data pad to cross-reference the train they got on with whatever logs I might be able to access to find out where they're going?
That would be definitely something that you could do. I would call that a research role or an admin role.
Okay, my research is 11. Admin is 12. I'm glad I picked admin because I made it by 1.
Well, then you would have made it exactly otherwise. Yes, it takes you a little bit of poking and prodding around because your master has basically focused you on the communication system because apparently names mean something, and he's in the Imperial telecommunications management.
Serves Darth Bell. We talked about this.
Oh, actually, he's in the line with Darth Chardinac, but he kind of is working on being Darth Bell. He's not Darth yet, though. Maybe someday.
Aspirations. Anyway. Now I get to have also helped. Everyone's done a thing now.
Do you want to read that out yourself?
You're more than welcome to.
Sudden mental image of Sen pumping one of those railway hand carts while Antuxa sits at the edge looking bored, and Rand holds a hand out using TK to pump the other side of the cart. Like
That's
in the
just the summary of this campaign, isn't it?
Yes.
Ram would figure out that he could just TK another cart to have it push the one we're on. How many degrees of separation before TK other affects us without me using TK self?
I mean, you could TK the thing that goes push push. Yeah, generally that starts getting weird. Right. Ran, you can figure out with a bit of work, probably while you were hopping onto the next train car to come along, assuming that you wish to all do this. They were on the route that's leading back to Drum and Cuss. It has about 6 stops, basically city limits, and some more stops within the city boundary itself, one rather near the citadel even, and one on the other outskirts, and then it goes on from there.
And took the whistles and holds up a hand. The train jumps the tracks and arrives at her platform.
I mean, she probably could.
Spoiler. The train wasn't going to do that, but Rand rolled well for telekinesis other.
Anyhow, you can hop on the train and it will go foosh. You know, a few random droids bring cargo things and load them in as well, because it's a space, you're coming off of a spaceport. There's droids coming and going. There are, in the cargo subway trains, there's a droid that is apparently theoretically being the adult controller for the thing, as opposed to just purely automated. There's rows of flip-down seats. There's chunks of cargo. You don't see it because the image cuts off, but there's more seats interspersed with tied-down cargo. And this is entirely, so far as you all know, how the trains should work. Subway cars. Yes, it's a monorail.
We do not do the song and dance number.
Nor do the droids.
I'm just glad we're not going to North Haverbrook.
And Tuxa makes psychometry by 9.
And Tuxa is examining every last piece of cargo on this train.
This is not the train that the kids got onto.
Yes, I know.
Okay. There are boxes from hither, thither, spaceport. You get senses of all of the fascinating places that these have been and the not so fascinating cargo holds. There's this box here that before it was pressed into service to carry electronics, looks like droid parts of some kind. It was being used in the wars. It was used for shelter. There's a firefight that was going on around it. Are you looking for anything in particular?
The last time I was on a train, someone snuck a bomb onto it. I would like to prevent that this time.
Good point.
Where's your sense of adventure?
It took a vacation before the bomb.
It should be back now.
You know, the bomb that tried to kill me, the bomb that almost did kill me.
We made some wonderful friends along the way.
We did, including the person with the bomb.
Yes. How's he doing, by the way?
Very well.
It's good to hear.
You're sending them, to remedial schooling, remote schooling.
See Darth John. See Darth John shoot lightning. Shoot lightning, Darth John. Shoot lightning.
You do find a crate that is apparently full of electronics that are meant for bombs and have been taken out of bombs and put into bombs and taken out of bombs again. Who knows? They do not appear to be attached to actual explosives.
Military. Well, I don't think there's a bomb in any of these crates.
The train continues on.
Nice to know that we can get on some train without it blowing up.
Indeed.
Be inconvenient if we couldn't.
Oh, right. I have Rand selected.
I have gained infinite power.
No, it was a 10 anyway. 13.
Itty bitty living space.
This train.
Please don't put Rand in a lamp.
Ouch. The car that you are currently on is going to access about 3 of the half dozen stops that the other one did. When it gets to the Citadel stop, it's going to turn and do a different set. It's going in a slightly different direction to the one that the small hooded figures got on.
Oh. Is this... Can we stop the train?
I mean,
Is there a pull cord?
there's a droid up at the front, and you are logistics Sith.
Very well. Excuse me, would you be ever so kind and stop the train for just a moment? We would like to get off.
I mean, we'll stop at the given stops as needed, and it will certainly do so, and it will inquire if the apprentices wish to get back on the train, or shall it continue on after it has left the apprentices off. My lords.
I believe you can continue on,
Yes, my lord. Please.
unless either of you object.
Which of the stops do you all wish to stop at?
The one closest to the divergence point?
That would be the Citadel.
Okay.
All right. It's going to take 20, 30 minutes to get there. It does pause at the other stopping locations and gets to the large subway station with all kinds of cargo stuff that's close to the Citadel, and you can all disembark there. We are going to Theater of the Mind. I did not make a map for every stop. Curses! Curse me!
They do
That would have
say
been hilarious.
you're not supposed to over-prepare.
Oh no, it's a train station that looks exactly like the train station we just left. How odd.
You know they use the same
What is-
architect for all of these.
Mm-hmm. This one is actually bigger. There are multiple train tracks that have walkways that go up above them, a few that apparently have walkways that go below them. There's, a couple of different levels. One of, a monorail basically comes by on the uppermost level that you can see way high up there. There's grating, and there's a train going by that's underneath the grating that was going even lower than this. It's a busy place. As above, so below. By that I mean there's trains in both directions. Yes. Please wait until the train comes to a complete stop before battling on the roof. Yeah, that's about right.
Please mind the gap.
Mm-hmm.
Do not blow up the train.
Mm-hmm. This is the stop that the other train would have made, so you can do what you will with that information.
I feel obliged to note that it is not just please mind the gap. It is please mind the gap. Tengo cuidado con el espacio libre. Please do not blow up the train. No haga estallar el tren. Please wait until the train comes to a complete stop before battling on the roof. Espere hasta que el tren se detenga por completo antes de lugar en el seco. Gracias.
Gracias.
Look, many Bothans died to get this Google translation that I put into the chat. Thank you for reading it.
Yes, thank you.
The Bothans didn't have to die. They were just falling over dead as I was typing things in. It was weird.
You have killed Bothans with your translation.
They died of laughter.
Indeed.
That
Ran,
of or hunger,
search.
because their food bowl was empty. You could see the bottom.
Oh dear.
Well, boffins are cat people, right?
I think they're dog people. Not sure. They're fluffy. A bit. Or scruffy or something. Anyway, you made your search by 1. There's a very convenient security camera over there. You are not spotting any toys at this instant.
Sen,
Yes.
I do believe it's your time to shine again. Is the security camera reachable?
Is this,
Hmm?
is this the station where they got off? Or just the point of divergence?
This is the point of divergence station.
Oh, okay.
You would need to find the exact train to determine where they got off, or psychometry at every stop. If you want to retcon psychometry at every stop, you can make the droid delay while you psychometry at every stop.
Do we have a list of trains that I can't remember if that was part of the information packet? Do we have a list of trains between when the cargo shipment came in and when we arrived?
You have the one they left on. That's the one that Sen grabbed
okay.
the thing, and that's one that ran. That's how you know what the stops would have been. Ran has made an admin by 1.
I'm
Well-
trying to find our train.
I suppose they could have gotten off here. We may as well check the cameras.
Is the camera mounted low?
The
Does it
camera is
pan?
going
Does
to
it wobble
require
to
a
and fro?
boost.
Well, that's not going to be a success.
Does it record or does it not? Does it record? Do we know?
Sen, this one is like, did someone weld this camera shut? Why has someone welded the camera's access port shut? Why? And Tuxa rolls a 6 on something. Sen, apparently someone has just like either welded this thing shut or maybe locked it shut. Is this a mechanical lock? Oh my. Are they trying to keep Sith levitating up and messing with the cameras in this station? Is that the problem?
Nothing so directed specifically at us. The person fixing the camera accidentally dropped the screw that held the casing on. So it was faster for them to spot weld it than it was for them to descend the ladder. And I just saw a plush Chiss agent sliding across the map on its own power. It's Toy Story. It's Toy Story.
Tuxa said she picked it up. I'm giving it to Tuxa. It's now under her icon.
Check its foot to see if someone wrote Andy on the bottom.
No, it was quite new, actually. Anyway, apparently, Sen, by missing things by a bit, is not making their electronic ops security roll here. At least not on this camera.
Yeah, this one's locked. I think it's locked. And maybe you should take a look at it.
Well, if it's locked, is it a mechanic lock? Is it a mechanical lock or an electronic lock?
It looks like it's probably a mechanical lock.
Fascinating. Well, I do have these lockpicks here that are just going to waste otherwise on my character sheet.
You will have to either let someone else or two someones, depending on who has telekinesis other, boost you up.
Are there
Or-
any crates or cargo here?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of crates being offloaded in various locations. And
Is there a staircase made of cargo crates here?
Yes. With a made by 13, you can casually grab random cargo that was waiting and a few things that are coming off of the hover pallets that droids are pushing around, making the droids very anxious. And now you have droids that are just sort of...
It starts off with like cargo pallets being pushed around in little hover dollies, and then one crate comes off of it because it's just the right size for me to go up on one step instead of trying to climb over it. And I get a few like that, a few that is over there in the corner. There's one droid that's reaching down to pick up a crate, and that's when I pick it up, so their hands just close around nothing. There's one that sets the crate down, then turns, and then that's when I take the crate. It turns back, and the crate is gone.
Yeah. You are identified as where all the pile of crates are as you climb to get up to the camera. And there are a bunch of droids around who are recognizing that you are using the Force. You are dressed as Sith apprentices. They can't actually argue with you very effectively. So you are being stared at by a bunch of droids who are waiting for you to go away so they can get their crates back.
Well, hopefully Force entry is not the role I was supposed to make, because I failed that by 2. After all of this lead-in, I have also failed.
Forced entry is a roll that you make to basically use a crowbar effectively and not damage things that you don't want to damage while damaging things you do.
So what would I roll to use lockpicks?
They are also you would use electronic operations security, probably, because they are also electronic lockpicks. And forced entry would be what you roll to crack that thing open like a bug.
I've got both kinds of lockpicks. I've got regular lockpicks and electronic.
You do?
Yes. And you said it's a mechanical lock.
Yeah. With
Sorry,
that forced in...
I hear got both kinds, and there's one thing, exactly one thing that comes to mind. Oh, we got both kinds of music here on country and western.
You know, speaking of Rand's inventory, I still have the hat that's seen better days.
Did you bring it? Oh, dear.
I never took it off of my character sheet, so I guess I still have it.
I mean, you could have left it at home if you wanted. It's fine. Okay, with the missed
when no one's around to see, the droid is wearing it.
It was a gift from her new master. She will
Did she
treasure.
almost say roommate?
No. She will treasure it forever.
It does need a little bit of patching, but don't.
She can do that.
Anyway,
Indeed.
What am I
Your
rolling
force entry
to use
missed
these
by 2.
mechanical lockpicks?
Probably. I should have put lockpicking on your sheet. I'm not sure why I don't.
Let's face it, if I really need to do forced entry with telekinesis other, I'm doing force entry.
There is that. With your forced entry missed by 2, you have an option of you can either break it when you're prying it open and hope that you don't break anything that's too important to it, or you can't figure out how to pry this thing open without breaking it. Or you can use your spare unspent point and retroactively buy lockpicking.
You know, we have said before things like, my character would have done this thing. And it would definitely help us move the story forward if Rand had actually done this thing. However,
Therefore,
Rand has
it's funnier the other way.
Put all of his emphasis into telekinesis other. So while Rand has actual lockpicks, Rand has clearly never practiced using them. So
they're so cool to have. They're shiny.
For the offer, but I will continue to keep my glass cannon as made of glass. Thank you very much. He is not going to turn into transparent aluminum.
It's 106 miles to Citadel. We've got a full tank of fuel, half a pack of death sticks. It's dark, and we're wearing visors. Hit it.
Hit it.
And Tuxa, Force Sense. What are you looking for?
The child who dropped the toys. For which I got an 8 on psychometry earlier. Success by 8.
Crap, and it got past me. I see by 9.
No.
over there.
This was the psychometry that we already did.
Oh, okay. You're trying to look for a particular person. All right. Let me open that because I have forgotten what range we were going to be giving.
Yeah, it's not very far. I just want to pick up like residual echoes.
You can get a few residual echoes. She passed through here within the last hour or 2 hours, something.
Okay.
You have a sense that, yes, she was here. There are enough droids wandering around that you're not sure that a toy would still be here, but might, like, check with the cleanup squad or something.
I think I will do that.
Well, I imagine most of the cleanup squad is waiting for that guy on the top of the stack of boxes to get off of them. So they're conveniently collected for you.
Well, those are mostly the cargo droids. You need cleanup droids. They do tend to specialize.
I will go searching for them.
Give me a logistics bureaucracy roll. It takes you
by that much.
1. It takes you longer than you would like to figure out which ramps you go up and how you get to basically the admin offices.
Huh. Hello, darlings.
I don't believe in
You don't?
karma, but clearly this is karma for our very high rolls earlier.
Yes.
Probably.
Have I finally found the administrators of this fine facility?
A fairly plump young lady scrambles up to her feet and goes, "My lord, what's wrong?" She salutes in a panic.
Nothing at all.
bows.
My goodness. Nothing at all is wrong. I am not here to register a complaint.
Oh, thank
I'm
goodness.
looking for something that perhaps was discarded here, that your cleanup droids might have, cleaned up.
Oh, lost and found. Right. Yes, yes, I can access. What do you need, my lord?
Well, it would be a toy like this. And she pulls one of the cat toys out of her pocket.
Ah. Oh. Right. Okay, a toy. Let's see. Let me just make a.
The Beanie Baby Collector's Edition Admiral Thrawn.
She pulls up a list of little holos that goes flick, 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 flick. You know, they're not great holos, but. And when would this have been lost, my lord?
Oh, within the last few hours.
Oh, okay. She makes a gesture. The holos basically go foosh as if someone had a scroll bar and was pulling real fast one direction. You get a small plastic, several small plastic toys. You get a purse. You get a hat, apparently. That's a fascinating hat. Rand makes a telekinesis by 15 to put all the boxes back. The droids are very happy. And you do, in fact, get another small stuffy toy that looks like a Nexu in a Imperial intelligence officer
Excellent.
suit. Would this be it, Charlotte?
I believe it may be.
All right. I'll have a droid bring it over for you.
Must tell you something in confidence.
Yes, my lord.
A child has been kidnapped and pressed into service as a thief, and she has been leaving these behind as a trail.
The administrator's eyes go very wide. She looks like she is trying to say, "Really, my lord? Don't pull my leg, my lord," but she does not want to argue with the Sith, or even seem like she's arguing with the Sith, so it's
Pull the other one, my lord. It's got bells on.
Yes, she's sort of like, she's big eyes, and then she's like, what, really, in her expression just a bit, and then sort of, she's confused.
I assure you, I do not blame you. I am extremely angry, but not at you. You have done fine work. You are running this station to perfection, and I will be reporting that to my master, Doc Chardinac. But
She straightens up and looks very happy, and also sort of quietly shoves a drawer a little bit more closed. Who knows, maybe she was reading some trashy romances or something. Or trashy action shows, or quality romances. You never know.
darling, I assure you, unless you're summoning some unholy being from beyond the stars, and even then, as long as they work for the Citadel, it's fine with me.
Oh, I would never, my lord, never. I can't.
I have a sort of a single focus at the moment. Whatever is in that drawer is of no concern to me. What is of concern to me is finding this child.
Do you know where they might have dropped it? I can try to access the security cameras.
Oh, that would be lovely. It would have been on one of the train platforms coming from the spaceport.
Spaceport. Such a tap, 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 tap.
She would have been on thus and such a train.
I think I'm going to reveal that one. I don't know if you two have found where Antuxa went or followed along.
No,
But
at this point, Rand is probably lamenting to Sen that they both did their best, but there's probably no way they're going to get any data off of that camera.
Let's just hope the camera still works as a camera.
Well, I stopped before just ripping it apart in frustration, but there was a temptation there.
in a very short amount of time, Antuxa, the administrator, comes up with a list of camera logs for that particular train stop. You do see one small cloaked hooded figure exit, dropping a toy that a droid is going to come in and present to you very soon onto the ground, and moving on. And the administrator goes, I need to follow. Let's see, that's camera OSC 9. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, that one and that one. And wait a minute, this camera's gone out. And
it was like that when we found it.
And that one's gone out.
That.
Okay,
you know,
there. Got picture.
This happened at the spaceport as well. How odd, don't you think?
Very. Let me try to get the outside cameras. Maybe I can see where they. All right, would be approximately this time. Let's. And that camera's not working, but that one's working. Let's see. There is a bit of typing and grumpiness, and there, that one's working. You can see the hover bus stop. It's on a little platform that is somewhat barely visible from the camera angle, and a small person, hooded, robed, goes up and appears to be waiting for a hover bus. A hover bus shows up. You can't really see them if they're dropping anything because it's up above the camera height. They get on the bus leaves.
Can we identify that bus?
You can identify the bus by the timestamp, and it did have a series of numbers on it, yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your help. You have been extraordinarily useful.
I am delighted to be able to serve one of the lords of Dromancas.
You have done so extremely well.
Thank you, my
And
lord.
I will make certain that my Darth knows your name.
There's a name tag on that is Ilme, Lieutenant Ilme.
Lieutenant Ilme. I'm sorry. I'm working out what the acronym stands for now. I believe I require nothing more of you. You may return to your work. I will await the cleanup droid and the toy.
It should be here. The door zooms open, and you basically get a little astromech holding a toy in its little gripper that goes and presents it to you.
Ah, thank you, my little friend. That is exactly what I needed.
It makes cheerful droid noises.
You have both been a wonderful help. Thank you. I will take the toy, hold on to it, and depart, making their lives easier.
The droid leaves after you to go back to whatever droidy thing it was doing, probably organizing Lost and Found. And you can now try to figure out where your companions are, or they could be figuring out where you are. You have comms, comm each other. You can meet up.
I will return to the main train station. If they're not there, then I will assume that they've gotten lost.
I really want to have a moment where Rand is getting on comms to say, Entuxa, are you anywhere nearby? As Entuxa's walking up directly behind us.
Oh, no, darling, I'm miles away.
Oh, that's a shame. Anyway, we can't get anything off of these security cameras.
Oh, perhaps I should have told you. I managed to find the person who runs them.
Oh, wonderful.
She was most helpful.
I thought the audio quality of my comm had taken an upkick for the better. You were right behind me.
Yes. Strange how these things work, isn't it? Anyway, I've not only followed the child out of the train, but followed her to a bus, which, well, we know where it went. And I've got another toy.
Well,
I seem to be starting quite the collection.
I am told they're collectibles.
Indeed.
Well, Rand will not voice this, but Rand is thoroughly disappointed. The plot is moving forward, which is good. His mission is closer to being achieved, which is good. But if we're on a bus top lightsaber battle is not nearly as dramatic as a train top lightsaber battle. So things are going downhill quickly.
Someone's clearly never seen the second Matrix film.
Look, if it's light enough for Rand to telekinesis other it until it's no longer a problem, you don't want to have a fight on top of it.
Very fair. Well, shall we find this bus?
What's it gonna take to get us to find this bus?
A 5-minute break, maybe?
Sounds like a great idea.
All right, I'm gonna hit pause. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round.
Except that these are hover buses. They do not have wheels.
My immersion! Ruined!
I mean, you could try and stick some wheels on them if you wanted to. You're in logistics. Sneak that into the requirements.
Well, I see some wheels over there. Give me a second. Okay. Made it by 13. I send the wheels flying towards the bus with enough force that they will become one.
I'm glad that
I'm
that's
sure
not
this will be
canon.
fine.
So,
Yes, I am also glad this is not canon because we have a bus to catch.
yes.
Which implies that we're going to
And not
ride
the
it
way-
as opposed to just catch it.
Smash cut to you have exited the transport location, required going up a few stairs, or lift if you wanted, elevator if you want that. And there's the bus stop and there's the stairs to get to this place where the hover bus will come and get to you. And I'm sorry, it's going to be theater of the mind for this too. But oh look, what's that on the ground? It appears to be a rather bright pink next to the little bench that you can sit at.
Well, I will go collect it.
This one looks like it is wearing a skimpy dancer's outfit. It's a Nexu, and it has Leku, and it's bright pink.
I am going to choose to not let Sen see this.
Huh?
It has
What am I not seeing?
We found a plush Lex.
Nothing.
It's fine.
made psychometry by 1. It was last in the hands of a child, and it was left behind. It has been out in the... Well, there's a shield over the bus station, so it hasn't actually got soggy or anything, but it's humid. Sen has made perception by 5 and took like to make sleight of hand or hold out. Missed holdout by 1. Sen and Tuxa has some bright pink toy that she has stuffed in a pocket.
Why was I not supposed to see that?
Well, I'll be honest, dear. I didn't want you going off and murdering entire factories full of toy manufacturers.
Why would I do that?
Well, you know, the humans get to be troopers, and the Chiss get to be special agents, and apparently the Twi'lek get to be exotic dancers. She reluctantly pulls out the pink Nexu with the Leku in the dancer's outfit.
Exotic dancers who are giant predators who bite people's faces off. I can almost get behind that.
Yes, that's true, I suppose. Well, if you are not feeling particularly murderous about it, then by all means. In fact, if you'd like, you are more than welcome to examine it yourself. I haven't had much success other than...
Well, I'll try. Actually, wait a minute. I would like to inspect the toy to make sure that there's nowhere someone could have shoved like a note into it.
It does not appear... You can sort of... it's got pantaloons, and it's got a chest band thing, and in sort of gauze, and there don't appear to be any notes shoved into the clothing or any seams that have been loosened to have a note shoved into them. It doesn't crinkle like someone managed something in there. Yes, Crash has found an exit. Now, small, cute, bright pink, and has Leku.
I do appreciate that they included all of the horribly long spines on its back, though.
They're soft, they're plushy, and all the teeth. It's got this, you can sort of open and close the jaw a little bit, and it's got all the soft, felt teeth in it. If Sen were inclined, you could probably find like a space Ken doll and take the head inside the mouth there, and anyway, you made the search by 4. You do not find any notes there. Perhaps someone was simply trying very hard to leave a breadcrumb trail, and they didn't have anything to make notes. Maybe.
Makes sense.
Okay, you're at a bus stop. What is the plan for the bus stop?
Get on the next bus that's going where bus 24601 was going.
Okay. Bus 24601 itself will, in fact, be arriving within the next 45 minutes.
I was afraid we were going to have to wait one day more.
No. That would... you do have a time limit. You're supposed to be getting the present to your lord for the small party that Darth Chardonnay is holding, all of his vassals, giving him something so that he can decide whether or not to throw eggs at.
My favorite thing about this conversation is you gave a factual response to my joke about 24601.
Yeah, well, sorry.
I didn't say I disliked
I-
it. I honestly said my favorite thing about it was that.
Oh, well.
It's
Okay.
wonderful.
It does occur to me to mention that we're pursuing the child at this point. The other people who were with her didn't get off the train
Or at least not at that stop.
at that stop.
The child is the one who's dropping the clues.
Yes.
So likely,
And the one who can identify the people who stole your, what was it? Alderanian honey brandy?
not mine specifically, but yes. That's still a concern. But
I have two different vintages better than that at home that I would just as soon get rid of. Perhaps I'll make a gift of one to Darth Sharkman.
let's find out how Darth Chardonnay takes this particular vintage first, as an idea about what to do with what you want to get rid of. Maybe he doesn't like it.
Oh, true. He might be a Corellian whiskey man.
I don't run in the same social circles, so I wouldn't know.
Well, neither do I, but it never hurts to do some climbing here. So,
Are you bantering for 45 minutes, or are you going to try to grab a taxi and force it to go to all the stops in turn?
how about those Knicks?
I'm sure they'll buff out eventually. The alternate response would be, they were like that when I got here.
Bantering for till the bus
All
shows
right.
up?
This is ridiculous. Taxi?
With a quick comm call and a certain application, yes, pay credits. We will not simply sponge off the Empire by being apprentices, which you can do for free, but taxi does put you down on the lowest priority. You can get a taxi much quicker than waiting for the bus.
Yes, I'm more than willing to pay. I'm more than willing to pay credits.
Uh-huh.
I had the good sense to invest in Spapple. And SpyBM,
Oh, I hope you sold their stock.
Imperial Business Machines. Oh, before the crash, yes, of course. Made out like what I'm informed the lower classes refer to as a bandit.
Oh no, Buck and Wade are technically bandits, and they seemed like they weren't doing real well.
Yeah, it's an odd colloquialism. Bandits don't tend to make out well in the circles that we operate in.
I suppose that's true. Must be an ancient saying.
Maybe the bandits came up with it.
I assume that you're going to go to all of the bus stops and make a search and or a psychometry roll.
Yes.
Okay, give me 3 rolls in total.
Oops. I rolled stealth instead of search, but it's the same number.
Well,
I
the same number,
successfully
that's
hide
useful.
from what I'm looking for. 2 out of 3 times, anyway.
Okay, have we got all of them? Yes, most of the... You have the taxi pause at every stop that the bus would have made. You scan the area, and Tuxie uses force sense. Finally, you get to... Okay, the bus has basically been going from the middle area, the outskirts. Let's get...
Oh no. There's no token in this area that gives me visibility.
I will place some tokens. One moment.
This is the problem with actually having a map.
Yeah, you have to place the tokens. I am going to put some tokens down, and I am going to shrink your tokens because that's an air car scale. Unless you want your tokens to just be big and just assume. You can shrink your own tokens if you want. Can you see the... Brand, you're doing stealth search Marco stealth below. What?
Well, yes, if you're searching, you're yelling Marco. If you're hiding, you're yelling Polo. It makes sense.
And
It makes
somehow
sense that you-
results in you being neither perceptive nor sneaky.
Yep.
Well, if you're yelling
It's very hard
Marco,
to
you're not
see.
really looking, you're just yelling. And if you're yelling Polo, how are you hiding when you yell Polo?
You're yelling Marco. You have your eyes
Exactly.
closed, obviously.
Right. Search, Tremor in the Forest, search, and Rand fails this last one. So, you get to a bus stop in this particular, it's kind of, all right, it's not the most outskirty out of the outskirts. It's a place that is clearly the cheap part of town. There's a lot of factories around. And so why are you using CERN?
To see if I could get a rollout.
Oh, okay. Is it? I saw you make force sense by 6 of there.
Yes. Anytime EO rolls,
Uh-huh.
the dice stop working for me. And
Weird.
What the criff?
and anytime I reload the page, every roll that EO has made this session appears at the bottom of the chat list with a timestamp of now.
I'm baffled.
It's alarming.
Yes. Especially since it's supposed to... It's when EO rolls, not when Crash rolls.
It's specifically when EO rolls.
Is there something weird with the dice so nice that you're using, EO?
I am starting to wonder if it's the apostrophe.
In Sen's name.
The Sen apostrophe.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Change it to a dash,
Wait.
maybe?
Change Sen's name to Johnny Drop Tables.
Sen's name is apparently already Johnny Drop Tables.
Hence the joke.
Little Bobby Tables. Yeah.
Anyway, it's not a big deal. I can just reload the page anytime it happens.
Then let me, can we change the names so that it has like a dash instead and see if that changes what happens?
Okay.
I don't know how to change the names. There's the identity. I don't know if that's maybe Crash. Yeah. Okay, now try rolling. See if that... Okay. Ellie, can you roll?
Unbelievably, that worked exactly as expected.
It was the
That
apostrophe.
fixed it.
It's the apostrophe.
It's the
All right.
apostrophe.
We have completed
Oh, that's
this
where-
session's section entitled Fighting with Foundry. Everyone check off that square on your bingo card.
On the other
Except I
hand,
wasn't fighting with Foundry. I was finding a bug in Foundry and
yes,
then working around it.
this is a literal bug. Okay.
EO, I'm so sorry. After all this time, I finally figured out what the problem was.
I mean, that's kind of how I felt about figuring out what the problem was with why the character sheet was cut off.
Oh my
It's like,
goodness.
well,
Could be worse.
we found it, and now you...
We could have had a character named Ignore All Previous Instruction.
True.
It's true.
Remind me that I have to write this up and show it to the GGA people.
I don't think it's GGA.
Think it's diced?
I think it's Dice So Nice.
Okay. That's probably worth reporting to the bug if
Yeah.
they do.
I'll,
In our other games, we do not tend to have characters with apostrophes in their names, so it might even be Foundry.
well, it's my suspicion is that it's because so much of the actually, I would go so far as to say almost all of this is written in JavaScript, and in JavaScript, the convention is to use single quotes or apostrophes as string delimiters.
Oh. Why hasn't it been doing it for me, though? Or Crash? Just you?
I have no idea.
Weird.
Anyway, sorry.
No, that's fine. We found a bug, and now we can accomplished.
Well, what it was
If you
doing
will
for
all-
me until today was I
Fascinating.
wasn't able to see Sen's rules at all.
Yeah, oh yeah, they weren't appearing in the chat log for me until I reloaded. But I could see that ever since the update, I could see the dice, but then they didn't disappear, and it prevented any other dice from rolling.
That's so weird.
Anyway,
if you
It's
will, everyone
interesting.
will scroll way far in to where your images are. There's your little air taxi, an air car scale. And if you care to mouse up above the air taxi, you can see.
Uh-oh, and Tux has shrunk in the laundry.
Anyone who wishes to shrink themselves to fit the map portions is welcome.
I'm not sure how to do that.
right-click on yourself, click on the gear icon to the bottom left, go to the Appearance tab, and then up at the top it says Dimensions Grid Spaces, and I have reduced myself to 0.5.
Don't
Thank
forget
you.
to click Update Token, or the change goes away.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're tiny! We're teeny!
Christmas time is here.
Okay, do that in
if we're not-
Tux's accent now.
I'm not sure I can.
You'd have to do it as a spoken word album. It's okay. We're on the Fediverse, so Captain Kirk can't find us.
I'd have to do it as the way Ross Bagdasarian did it, which was by recording it and then speeding it up.
There's a little stuffed toy at the bus stop. Enough people have made their search rolls that it will be spotted. It's a little Loth-cat that looks like it's dressed as a private or something. It's a little Imperial private. It has a little felt gun. It's so cute.
Oh, look, I found a little privacy. So hard to get these days.
Indeed. I'm going to assume that you are calling up the appropriate maps. Well, this is what the map claims to look like. 4 cents. Again, give me the range. Remind me of the range.
That's not what I wanted to do. 50 yards times degree of success. So 150 yards.
Let's see. Just for grins. Each of these should be hex. You are not detecting the child, but you do feel like she's been in the area recently-ish, something, more than once.
Okay. Just for giggles.
Detecting disturbances. You do not detect any Sithly disturbances in the area. If anyone here is force active, besides, Ran, who might be detecting Ran, who knows what Ran is eating.
I
You're-
resent the implication.
you're not
I was
detecting
only
this.
eating a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Rand stops juggling the 17 objects and goes down to 3.
Mm-hmm.
Can I find like a direction that the child might have gone?
You feel like the child has gone east-west directions, maybe south. It's fuzzy. It's like you're getting the impression that maybe the child lives around here.
I'm sorry, maybe the child.
Lives around here
Okay.
or something. Has been around here a lot. Yeah. Anyway, there's a little medical station next to the bus stop. There's a cantina. There's streets. They have crosswalks up in the from building to building that the street. Some of the tower very high up. Some of them have things that overlap in the area, but it's far enough away from the city, the dense part of the city, that many of these are, in fact, like 2 to 4 stories high. You can call up your Maps app and get what is displayed on the screen that I have just gestured.
I'm assuming that, like, there's a flickering neon, like, green plus sign over the med station, and
probably. And the cantina has little credits next to flashing neon lights. Have dancers sort of poses around a kind of thing that
right.
Yeah. Are we making sure? Yes.
It's obviously not all. None of this is brand new. And
this is elderly, yeah. It has a faint air of disuse in places as well. Like, it's been some months since officially ended with the public in the truce, the Treaty of Court. And this was probably a place, a lot of military stuff that is now being retooled, slated for upgrades. A lot of the office.
Yeah. I gotcha. It's the kind of place that's slated for upgrades next month for the last 3 years.
I mean, some of it was probably still busy because it was still capable of making, like, helmets, rifles, or whatever. Not the newest, but they were already, the factory run was still set up for them. So now that they don't need a constant supply of their slated, and probably have been slated for upgrades, the Treaty. Iran will probably recognize this as the kind of place that soldiers would get housed. You know, he's probably seen places like this when he was with his parents. You know, this isn't your home location planet, but somewhere basic training, because you're part of the military that's staying here to defend and run the planet. So
they're all
it has
built
that feel to it
in different ways, but at the same time, anyone who's lived in a place like this looks around and knows the kind of place it is instantly. In spite of that, the intangibles are all there.
Yeah.
Ran at this point,
the way the cantina,
if pressured, could find the cantina, where to buy the decent cigarettes, where to buy the crummy cigarettes, and where the best gambling is.
And where the best illegal gambling is.
And that's with not participating in most of the activities just mentioned.
Exactly. There are people around who are plainly extremely lower class, you know, soldiers or former soldiers who had to retire because of injuries, around with a cane and a prosthetic, that kind of thing. There are droids wandering around. There are, you know, scruffy people who probably work somewhere. You occasionally get suspicious looks, and people hurry on, decide that maybe they don't want to go down this street next to the Sith apprentices. Maybe they want to go down this alley instead.
Sith apprentices? No thanks, I'll take my chances in this dark alley.
Pretty much.
Sith
There's some-
apprentices, I would prefer to go down Crime Alley.
I mean,
Yes, I know that's where Batman's parents were shot. I'm taking my chances.
mhm.
For the record, with the Loth-cat GIFs that are in Discord, when I move away from Discord to look at the map, it froze on this frame.
That's terrifying.
The last thing you see before you need to change your armor.
The Loth-cat jumping at you with its big mouth wide open.
Everything with
things
the
must
motion
be able
blur
to-
on it just makes it better.
Yes.
You know, I think there's something more going on than just Sith apprentices. Because, well, I'm not sure if Sen and Ren are wearing their robes,
Oh, I
But-
certainly am.
and Tuxa is definitely not.
Ah.
And I mean, she has the I've got to hunt it down. She has the gold dress on. She probably has some sort of coat on because, well, it's that time of year
Rainy.
and rainy. But she is not wearing apprentice robes. She's wearing fashion. But also, someone wearing fashion like that and looking supremely calm in the middle of an environment like this, followed by two people who may or may not be wearing Sith robes.
They think you're a Sith Lord. You are, after all, a pureblood.
Yes, that's true.
You are extremely distinctive, and not just for the gold dress.
Well, it's a shame
Yes,
I'm
you
not old Rob or
definitely-
I'd use gather information.
But yeah, there's no, like, if it weren't for Sen and Ran, people would be coming up to her saying, "Can I take a picture with you?"
Probably. Either that or they'd be assuming that you were an extremely dangerous Sith Lord and running down the alleys.
I mean, I am an extremely dangerous Sith. I'm just not a Lord.
There is that.
I mean, we have plenty of people who defy all logic at Yosemite Park to get photos. So I imagine that even believing that Antuxa is a Sith Lord, there would still be people running over to get their photo taken.
Selfie.
Made 4 cents by 5. Still looking for your potential.
Yes. And I am walking, gotta avoid the walls,
Yeah, actually put walls.
this way down the street.
Marco.
Okay. Hello.
That way.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, you do sense something off to the east within your range. Let me make a circle, give rough.
150 yards is a long way.
Yeah, it is. Did that make it visible?
Yes.
Okay, it's somewhere in that location. That the circle is not very precise, but yeah. Well, that's the
Okay.
yeah.
I will
And-
continue walking unconcernedly down the street.
It is amazing how quickly down this street the quality of the buildings, not all of them, but most of them, there's graffiti. There's stuff that hasn't been repaired officially. You can tell there's, patchy jobs. There's stuff that probably was repaired officially, scrimping and skimping and possibly getting a little petty fraud in by saying that they fixed best Duracrete and they slapped a coat of tar over. The road is not one that you want to take a wheeled vehicle, but there's hover stuff. And there are scruffy kids along the street. One or two of them are playing with toys. Some of them are young enough that they, instead of immediately going eek Sith, they sort of step back and gawp at you instead.
Noblesse oblige, darling.
Gawp, gawp. Occasionally, a parent sort of grabs their child and bows at you and makes the kid, tells the kid to bow as well, or shoves them to bow. They know actually supposed to be polite to Sith, darn it. The droids bow, they're programmed. There are some scruffy people, adults around, some of whom basically just sort of stay back and less run away and more. Well, Ran, you did a search. You just made your search. What are you search marcoing? Or are you just having fun with it?
Not so much having fun with it as trying. I know Antux's doing a search in Antux's way, but Rand's not good at that particular way. So Rand is looking for things that strike him as interesting. We've already established that this area is the kind of area that Rand would be familiar with because of his backstory.
Give me a savoir-faire and a
military.
merchant.
Well, I've been out of the military for quite some time. I like to relive the glory days of not being a Sith apprentice and eating horrible food and having a low life
But also there's a
expectancy.
range modifier there.
But wow, yeah, minus
You made it
7
by
for
2.
range. I guess that's because I was measuring distance earlier, but
Yep, it will hang on to that.
so technically I made it by 2, not missed by 5. I was going to give a long story about why I failed that roll.
But you made it by 2. Give me a merchant roll.
A merchant roll? Ah,
A merchant
that's
roll.
a skill that you
have
gave
it.
this character when you made this pre-made.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that one I did fail.
I missed that one. You're not sure where the local fence would be located, but it's probably going to be around here, down one of these smaller streets or an alley or something. You're not really sure where the drug den would be, but there's probably one around here. And the people who are fading back the way they're fading back don't want official notice, and they're not running. If you run, you attract attention. If you just sort of fade back, well, they're not doing it as well as they possibly think they are, but it's definitely the don't want no trouble kind of thing. And they don't think that they're doing something you're going to really care about, but you might.
Well, I tried.
Actually, Sen, do you have Streetwise? Sen, would you like to roll Streetwise?
Sen would like to roll Streetwise.
Sen misses Streetwise. This is not anything like Coruscant. This place is okay. This place might be like way low down Coruscant, but it's Imperial. Why are the Imperials like this?
Why couldn't it be metric?
Indeed. There are so many differences that you're apparently having a bit of an issue with it. No one is trying to stop you people. Just going to keep strolling down. No one is going to stop you. In the area of the circle, it looks like there's a building that has various regular windows in it, and what you can sort of see through the windows appear to be desks and, industrial office style. If you look at your map of the area, I assume you're going to bring up a map, so you don't, wander into the. Nice. And Tuxa, why is your intelligence -5?
I was rolling streetwise.
Ah, missed by one. There might be criminals in this area, and
Oh no. Whatever shall I do?
indeed. So, the building labeled offices does appear to be kind of Aussie. One with housing is. It looks almost like it used to be something else, but now there's like little curtains and occasional bags or toys. That's laundry. What do they think it will do to hang their laundry? Make it dry? This is Drummond Coss. It doesn't get dry.
No, you hang it out not to dry, you hang it out to rinse.
Perhaps that is what they are doing.
Drying is an additional stage you do once you pull it back inside.
Or something.
And
Maybe they're airing it out.
That's the agitation phase.
Clearly. There's a mixed thing that has like little storefronts on the, on the front of it. Little kiosks and whatnot. Looks like there's some office-y type windows. Looks like there's someone with little potted plants on windowsill. Something. Oh, there's one over there that has a couple at the far east bit. It's a little 2-story building. It's got the archway up above it. It's got a great big garage door that is partly open. And you are not going to be stopped. People are fading away, but just preload something. Made by 4. That's... Well, if you made it by 4, let's just...
Ah.
Sorry. You okay?
Yep.
Sorry. Let me make this visible to the players to that away.
I know DK stands for Drummond Coss, but at the same time, every time I see DK as a prefix for a map, I assume it means Donkey Kong.
Sorry. I was just trying to make something that I could remember. There's people inside working on
don't get a takedown from Nintendo is all.
I don't think they're going to see the map names.
Also, DK. It's just 2 letters. It's very hard to trademark that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the wooden hover cart.
Thank you. It's the best cart I could find. It's not wooden, it's rusty. And Tuxin has turned invisible. Give a moment of the... Thank you.
It's one of those things where it's not a historical recreation because it's a hover cart. And an actual cart would have wheels. But imagine, if you will, a Ford Model T with a modern V8 engine inside of it.
I mean, we're just going to say it has been painted brown. Because that's the color it came in. Thank you. I was doing the best I could, okay? This is before I found a whole bunch more free assets that I could load into Dungeon Draft.
You have misunderstood my intent. I appreciate the wooden hover cart.
I just want to know what they attach it to have it be pooled.
The lights.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. That could work. I mean, not everyone has TK Other.
Exactly.
Also, right over there to the east on the map, there's 2 of them that have them attached. I just had to look there.
That's right. Yeah, see? Please appreciate. There's a garage here that has a couple of people sort of desultorily working on the hover bike part of what are apparently like 1-person carts that, you hook them up and you can drive people things. Maybe it's like, space rickshaws.
Rickshaw, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. It's sort of like a space rickshaw, maybe. You load into that to go fix something. You could load tools into it. It only
All
takes
I was getting
one
was
driver.
Howdah.
No, are those those?
They go on top of elephants.
Right. That's what. Yeah.
And for rickshaw, that's an actual rickshaw is pulled by somebody holding on to the handles and running in front of it, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So if this is a space rickshaw or a hover rickshaw, we still have the person holding on to the handles, but they're like an Olympian doing gymnastics in the front. Their legs flailing wildly while this thing flies through the air. This was a very bad idea.
That's why they stuck a hover bike in front. So they hook the space rickshaw up to the hover bike, and the hover bike person functions as like a horse or something. And there are a bunch of droids lined up against the north wall. They are fairly quiescent. There's cabinets with tools and whatnot. There's trash bin over the side. There's some other doors around, and Tuxa is being very sneaky. Ran, are you wandering? You're wandering in there, right?
Well, I wasn't aware that Antuxa was being sneaky.
Ah, yes. Antuxa has done invisibility made by 5. Antuxa just vanished.
Okay.
She's done this again while you people were on the street, so...
Oh, no, I'm letting Ran and Sen be the face this time.
Ram will walk in and say, "Hello, everyone. I was wondering if you could help me. I'm looking for a friend."
They look at each other, and I am going to make an IQ.
Everybody roll for initiative.
No,
That would be if they roll poorly.
The two scruffy, they have the look of Kasi people, look at each other. One says, My lord, I didn't think he was visiting today. And that's where we're going to end it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank everyone for... Dun, dun, dun. Yes, you got an interesting response. That's great.
Da, 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 da.
Thank you all for playing. I thank our listeners for listening and putting up with me. And is there anything anyone wants to play?
I am reliably informed that Eo's mom writes books,
And
although I don't know where to find them or if any libraries carry them.
well, they ought to carry them if you ask, because they're ebooks and they're very cheap for libraries. So if you ask your library to look for the books that you find, the ebooks you find at elizabethmccoy.com, then you might be able to get them, buy them for you, and then I get paid. You get to read for free with the Libby app. Everybody's happy. And speaking about happy things...
And
Crash,
websites.
And websites. Crash, that's your cue.
Well, you said happy things, so I was waiting for bookofjen.net and shatteredsoulstone.com, but Jen isn't in this campaign. So we take all of these podcasts, which are incredibly happy. Nothing bad happens in any of these campaigns at all, ever. Clearly. Just look at the evidence. Well, we put all of them on aaronbsmith.com/cogwheel. That's where you can subscribe to all the RSS feeds. It is my preferred way of handing out this wonderful content. So you can plug those RSS feeds into any podcatcher that's worth using. If you want to follow us on the Fediverse, you can do so by pointing your web browser at is.aaronbsmith.com/@cogwheel. And if you'd like to help support us, you can go to patreon.com/cogwheelgaming and help us keep the lights on, along with other illustrious patrons, including Ellie, Shen, Walter, Liv Droman, and patron emeritus Cindy.
Until next time, this is Beth saying, didn't realize he was gonna be here, my lord. I mean, you sure that today was when you were supposed to meet? Night, everyone.
A Sith is neither early nor late. They always arrive exactly when they intend to. Unless the bus doesn't pick them up at their stop, or somebody blows up the train.